Are you struggling with getting things done in your business? You only have so many hours in the week, right? In this video, I'm going to show you how to get more done in less time so you can get back to doing what you love, making your art and your products. Hi, my name is May Pak, and I help makers, artists, and creatives make a consistent income from selling their handmade products online. My very first tip for you is to do your work in bulk or in batches, or like assembly line style. You're taking advantage of what's called economies of scale. Basically, it means that it takes longer to do one thing, and it actually saves you time, and you're more efficient when you do, say, 10 things of that one design or one thing. So for example, when you're making your product, say you make dog treats, it takes just as much time to make one dog treat as it does to make 24 dog treats, right? So let's take this a step further. Compare making 24 dog treats with making 6 dog treats. You might need to triple your recipe, and it might take you slightly longer overall to make a batch of 6 dog treats, but when you calculate how much time it took to make each dozen, it will actually take you less time. So try to do things in bigger batches. Overall, it may take more time, but when you take a magnifying glass and you look at the time for just each item, it took less time to make each thing. So you're saving time by being more efficient. Another thing you can do in batches is your social media content. Instead of posting a new photo to your Instagram once every day, why not take a couple of hours in one sitting and create posts for the next 30 days? It might take you 15 to 20 minutes to create one post, but with batching, you could create 30 posts in 3 to 5 hours, making it between only 6 to 10 minutes per post. When you've got a new product line to photograph, you're dedicating an entire afternoon to photograph every single product in your collection, right? You're probably already doing some batching in your business, so think of how you can batch other tasks in your business, and let me know in the comments what you come up with. One last example. If you're not already doing this, I highly recommend batching responding to comments and emails. So that means don't check your email multiple times a day, because every little switch you have to make between one task and moving to another, it takes time for you to adjust between the previous task and the next one. If you're checking your email just once or twice a day, say once in the morning and once in the afternoon, you're only doing 2 switches and you'll save time from that. Moving on to tip number 2, use templates and scripts as much as you can in your business. You can use templates for things like your social media captions, your product descriptions on your website, your customer service emails, your pitch emails for doing media outreach. This makes it so that you're not starting from scratch every time. Because when you start from scratch, you'll have to spend quite a big amount of time initially thinking about it, wondering what you're going to say, how you're going to say something, and you don't have to do that so much when you can start with a template. For example, you might get customer service email questions from people asking if you can rush order a certain product in your shop. Maybe this is a question you get pretty frequently. Turn that into a template so you have the overall structure of the email ready and it's already written, and you can just copy and paste that into the email. And then you spend a little bit of time personalizing the email to your customer. That will take so much less time than you starting from scratch writing that email every time. Tip number 3, try working in smaller chunks of focus time. If you haven't heard of this before, it's called Parkinson's Law. Basically, what it means is work expands to fill the time available for its completion. So if you've got the task to write 5 new product descriptions for new products you've got on your website, if you give yourself 5 hours to do it, you're gonna take all 5 hours to do it. But if you give yourself 2 hours to do it, you're still going to get it done in 2 hours. It's kind of like that phenomenon with toothpaste. When you have a fresh tube of toothpaste, you might be more generous with how much you use in the beginning. But when you're starting to run out of it, then you start to skimp on it to make the toothpaste last longer before you have to get a new tube. It's an interesting psychological thing that happens to us. You can read more about this online, but here's how you can make this work for you right now, today. Make a list of your tasks and think about how much time you need to do all of it. And now I want you to cut the amount of time you've given yourself by half. There's a cool thing that happens when you give yourself a tighter deadline. You become more focused, but it doesn't necessarily mean you'll produce lesser quality work. Our brains are also not designed to be working at a high level for too long, so you need breaks in between. When you have too much time, your brain gets distracted. You might go on Facebook or chat with some friends. So try working instead in smaller chunks and take breaks in between each chunk. So when you're starting a new chunk, you have renewed energy to take on the next task. This is exactly why if you have a day job or you're a stay-at-home mom and you just don't have that much time to work on your business, that's okay because of Parkinson's law. You don't really need that much time. If you can find a half hour in the morning, another half hour at night, you can actually get a lot done with that time. Of course, provided you know what you need to do during that time and you're using that time wisely on things that will move your business forward and not just doing busy work. Finally, tip number 4 is you really need to work off a strategy for everything you do. Take the time to plan what you're going to do before you go do it. Write down, or at least mentally make note of all the things you need before you start, how much time you'll need, how you're going to do it, and so on. That way, when you do the thing, you don't have to wing it and you have a plan that you can just follow. Planning also helps you not waste time. For example, when I'm creating my YouTube videos, I know exactly what I'm going to say before I start recording. It saves me time rather than not knowing what I'm going to say and then turning on the camera and then trying to figure it out all on the fly. You might be spending more time in the planning stage than the actual doing, and that's okay. A lot of the times, the actual doing doesn't actually take up that much time. Think about it. When you're publishing a post onto Facebook or Instagram, when you've got your photo and your social media caption written out, the act of actually uploading the photo and typing in your caption and then hitting publish takes all of 2 minutes. But it's the taking the photo, thinking of what to write in your caption, that takes up the bulk of the time. So get in the habit of planning things out first and combine that with doing things in batches, and you'll be saving a ton of time every week. An advantage of working in these ways also makes you more consistent in your business. Because now you've got 30 social media posts scheduled and ready to go every day. You're not gonna miss a day because let's face it, some days we just don't feel like being on social media. You're not going to miss a day because let's face it, some days we just don't feel like being on social media or posting something. So instead of letting your emotions run your business and you're just doing things when you feel like it, which makes you inconsistent, you're now operating from a place of systematic efficiency, and that's going to do wonders for your business. Let me know in the comments which of these 4 tips sound most exciting to you right now. Don't make these common mistakes that waste so much of your time. If you're curious what those mistakes are, click here to watch the video on the 4 mistakes craft business owners make that waste time.